loved, but I didn't. It's gonna be a great year.
Is that what we're talking about today, sir?
No, what we're talking about today is we're gonna wrap up our year. Okay, we're gonna give our top 3 games of the year, our most surprising game of the year, our most disappointing game of the year, which we know is gonna piss off probably most of you because you guys are soft soy boys who only play fucking popular games. Fuck all
Cucking the
you
audience in the first minute. What a bold move.
God.
bitches. We ain't sponsored yet. This show will never get sponsored because I'm here. Fuck you. Anyway, we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff. We're gonna talk about maybe some stuff that we're looking forward to in 2024. If anybody knows of games that are coming out in 2024, it's not that hard. There's like 87 are fucking ready. But yeah, that's what this episode's about. We're just wrapping up the year. Our first year. We didn't do too many rescues, but we'll try to have more. But with me today, I have the sexiest man alive in GQ magazine. If you didn't read it, that is Jesse Fresco. Look, Jesse didn't know. Where's he going? And then sexiest man alive in. What's this say?
Wired. Just say Wired magazine.
This says Reader's Digest.
I made
I just spit it out. I just spit it out.
Seth Becker's here, the Pitchmaster General.
God damn it. God damn it.
Service. I know I played less games than both of you this year, but I'm happy to be here regardless.
Well, because your job was killing you all year long, and now you've been fired, so now you have all the time in the world.
I'm catching up, baby. We're here for it.
Well, yeah, we're here to talk about some video games. You know what? Let's rip the Band-Aid off. What game surprised you guys the most this year?
RoboCop!
wow.
Holy
Okay.
shit, that was better than it deserved to be. I was expecting that to be like so just mid, and I came out, I was like, wow, this is really good. RoboCop was great. I really loved it. It's the RoboCop 3 we should have gotten. Because it technically is RoboCop 3.
Yeah,
So for anyone listening that is not familiar with the game, what kind of game is it? Why do you think it's getting your biggest surprise? And is it worth the price tag right now?
Absolutely worth the price tag. I don't even think it's a full price game. I think it was like was it
$50.
$40? $50. Yeah, so it's already discounted at release. It's a AA game, not a AAA.
There you go.
First person shooter. You're playing as RoboCop. It takes place after RoboCop 2, and essentially you're just playing as RoboCop, going around taking out criminals, shooting the bad guys. It's very simple, very straightforward, not complicated. There's some like light RPG element stuff to it. You can enhance your pistol. You can make RoboCop stronger, a little bit faster. You get some new abilities. You can like dash around. You can throw out like flash bombs to stun people.
Yeah.
It's
Really good.
not the most complicated or in depth, but it was good. I had a good time with it. Yeah,
Nice.
it was, and it's not a terribly long game either. You can probably finish in maybe like 7-8 hours. It's not terribly long. There's not really a reason to go back and play it again, except play it on harder difficulties. There's no like multiplayer. There's no horde mode or anything like that. It's just the single player campaign, which is fine. It's from the same people that did that Terminator game a few years back, Terminator Resistance.
Yeah.
Which got shit on.
Not that
Shit
good.
on when it's a pretty good game. And I think that what happened was that a lot of critics, they got called out for shitting on that thing when everyone's like, yeah, this is like a pretty decent game. Why are you shitting on this? It's because everyone's like, oh, well, it's not a AAA game, so we're just going to run it under the fucking wheels of a truck.
Yeah, that's not
And-
fair.
That's not fair. And it,
Xbox tax on it or something, you know?
yeah, and
Jesus.
And so a lot of those critics that did that, I think that some of them may have gotten fired or they just
Or
like
just don't
disappeared
work
into
there
the
anymore.
ether. Like, they just don't work there anymore because it goes to show that there are times when critics will just shill for companies. It happens. And this is one of those times when new people were brought in and people went in with an open mind. And we've had a packed year of gaming. Like this back end of the year, I was like, there was too much shit to even play, dude. Too much shit to even play.
And it's bleeding into 2024. There's so
Right.
many
Oh
games.
god, it's insane.
The first
But yeah,
4
I think
months.
everyone going into this RoboCop game was just like, oh god, a breath of fresh air. It's not overloaded. It's not 100 hours long. It's not super bloated. It's just hey, it's a fun little first-person shooter with RoboCop in the main lead, and Peter Weller's back as RoboCop. Great, you know, simple, straightforward, to the point. Everyone just enjoyed the breath of fresh air. It's not the greatest game ever made, but it's a nice diversion if you need a little bit of a RoboCop fix. So yeah, that was my big surprise, and the critics have been accurate with their reviews. 8 out of 10, 7.5. That's what I'd give it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good
It's a
game.
good game.
Nice.
What about you, Seth? What's your surprise?
You know,
of the week?
for as busy as I was this year, I did try to strike out into streaming a little bit, and one of the first games that I got to stream this year ended up being just exactly the game to tickle me pink. It was called Chia,
Good game.
and the
Good
the
game.
pitch for the game is kind of you can tell that it was born with the Switch in mind. It basically combines Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey in that it's a like action adventure open world game where you use like a hang glider to move around. You can climb on surfaces, so it's very like Breath of the Wild gameplay style. But then,
Oh yeah, I think I saw the trailer for this.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I don't have a Switch, so I can't play it.
It's
Sure.
not on Switch. It's on PlayStation.
oh, PlayStation.
Oh, it's on
That's what I
PlayStation?
meant. That's what I meant.
She is on PlayStation. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was a Switch game. Oh, okay.
And the mechanic of the like combat mechanic of the game is like Mario Odyssey in that the hat throwing mechanic where you become an object. You can become any animal in the game for traversal, and then you can become any inanimate object as a weapon and launch them at people. And once you get the hang of this kind of weird mechanic, it is a little odd, but it has a slow-mo that goes with it to help you kind of track. And once you get the hang of it, you are lethal. Like the game really unfolds for you. You can turn yourself into a bean can and launch yourself across a canyon and then turn back into your character. It's awesome. It's the kind of game that if I was like 10 to 15 years old, this would have been my favorite game of all time. Like just would have just crushed as my favorite game ever. It was a real like nostalgia kind of hit to get a game that my kid self was just so stoked to play. So that was my big surprise. I wasn't expecting a lot out of it, but holy shit, like they really came through.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I heard nothing but great things about that game. See,
Yeah.
for me, my game's kind of closer to Jesse's. My big surprise of this year was a game I never thought would ever exist. Dead Island 2.
There you
Dead
go.
Island 2.
The game that took 15 fucking years to get finished.
Dead Island
Right.
2 went through 5 different developers, 4
Oh
different
my
publishers,
god.
and finally released this year. And that is a recipe for a bad game. And that game
Yes.
is exactly
Duke
what I needed.
Nukem.
I needed Dead Island 2. I really did. I needed a game that was just some dumb killing zombies in the fun arcadey way that they have always had, because Dying Light 2 had left such a bad taste in my mouth. And to
Ugh.
finally get this game that was actually a lot of fun to play was so engaging. You know, I played with one of our friends, Alana, a couple of times. We got to co-op a little bit, and it's just so much fun. And I absolutely recommend playing that game if you are just into that. Like, I just want to bash some zombie skulls. Dead Island 2 is going to give you that little fix, and it should not, with all that it went through, be as good as it is. It's a solid 8, and it shouldn't be. No game that has had that much development outside of Final Fantasy 15, which wasn't even the name when the game was first announced, had such chaotic development and came out functional. So I think it deserves a lot, and it surprised me just how great it was. So that's my biggest surprise of this year.
Wow. Yeah, the graphics in that thing were fucking
So
next
pretty.
level. That's really pushing your PlayStation.
I loved killing zombies in that game. That I was like, this was what Dying Light 2 was missing. Fun. This game is fun. Now we're gonna pivot. Let's pivot to our top 3. Let's go with, what's your third best game of the year? Number 3 on your list.
Number 3 on the list.
Ooh.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear what
Let me
you
go
guys
back
have.
through my.
Let's start with you, Mikey. What's your number 3?
Number 3 for me is the only Souls game that no one was talking about this year, and they should be, because it's made by the most consistent studio that is not Miyazaki's studio, and that is Team Ninja and Wulong Fallen Dynasty, who next year
Wulong.
have a game I'm excited for, Rise of the Ronin. They've also made Neo and Neo 2. These guys know how to make really, really high-quality games. And what Wulong Fallen Dynasty does is it's telling the Romance of the Three Kingdoms story that everyone kind of knows from like Dynasty Warriors games. Except it is now a Souls-like game. And what they did was they kind of took a little bit of inspiration from Sekiro with the way that they instituted a
Interesting.
parry system. The difference was that parry and dodge were set to the same button. So there was a little bit easier of a learning curve. The problem was that a lot
Yeah.
of people ran into was the very first boss. The entire objective of that first boss is to help you understand exactly how this game is going to work and beat the shit out of you because of it. So if you made it past the first boss, you were good for a bit. But
There's
it
the
was
Souls like.
it is a gorgeous game. It is beautiful. There's so much content. They've been releasing DLC for it. They've been giving free upgrades for it. It is a fantastic game that doesn't get any love this year because of Lies of P and Lords of the Fallen being shockingly good.
Mm.
And it really kind of disappeared, which happens. It happened to Neo and Neo 2 as well, where everyone just kind of forgot that Team Ninja made fucking great Souls games. And personally, to me, you should play Wulong Fallen Dynasty if you like Souls games. It's a lot of fun. And that's my number 3 for the year.
Nice. I'm always a fan of a Souls-like. I'm always looking for a new one to check out, and they have been super consistent. The Neo games specifically. I remember you telling me about those way back in the day, and then seeing a video essay on them a couple years ago, and somebody breaking down like why it's such a well-constructed game, and I was like, damn, look at Mikey being ahead of his curve back then.
Telling you. Yeah, they made a game last year as well. They also made the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins game,
Mhm.
which, if anyone knows anything about that game, Chaos. Also has no business being as good as it was. But this is what these guys do. They just know how to make great Souls-likes. And they have another one coming out next year, Rise of the Ronin, which is one of the games I'm super excited for next year.
Hell yeah.
What
Jesse,
about
what's number
you?
3 for you?
3 for me. Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun.
Bolt gun.
Yeah. Yeah, Bolt Gun was fun. I had a good time because it wasn't even a full price game. I think it was like $30, $40, something like that when it came out. It wasn't even. It was like $30. Yeah. I would have paid more for that because it's a classic, Doom shooter. That's all it is. It's just go into a room, kill everything. That's it. Literally the whole thing, the whole game. There is no story. You go there, kill everything. And it's great. And
Wow.
was it Rahul Kohli is the voice of the main character?
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
They literally just called him and said, "Hey, you want to do this?"
And he's like, fuck yeah, I do.
yeah. But he doesn't really have a character. It's just like you press the triangle button and he just like screams out like insults and taunts towards the enemies. It's like it's fun little stuff. Lots of enemy variety, lots of great weapons. The gun you get, the bullets, they're like the size of beer cans.
Oh my
It's like-
god. Holy
Well, that's
shit.
Warhammer 40K. All the weapons, like imagine a normal gun. Now put it into an enlargement array, and it makes it just bigger. That's it. It's the same shit, just bigger.
That's so
Oh
great.
my
So-
god.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you see,
that's
did
why
you
I'm
see
kinda
the other
looking forward to that.
Warhammer game that came out this year?
What was the other Warhammer game?
Shooter's
there was
Blood
one.
and Teefs.
Yeah.
It was it was the other low price, shockingly good game that they put out this year, but instead of a Doom like, it's a Contra like, so it's a side scrolling shooter. And
Oh, I
it's
didn't even know that happened.
dude,
That's
it's
really
it's
good.
so goofy and it's so fun and it's so good.
Hey, shout out to Games Workshop, by the way, who, unlike Hasbro, who's pieces of shit, gave every
Yeah.
one of their employees big bonuses because Games Workshop had their most profitable year ever. So
What, the workers got the results of their work paid back to
Yeah.
them.
they all
Yes!
got nice bonuses. All
As
of them.
opposed to Hasbro, which those executives are paid what they give themselves like $8 million bonuses, something like that.
Yeah,
And
around
they said
that for
that
all of them.
in,
Dude,
in order to keep
a
the company
Scrooge curse
healthy,
upon them. I hope they wake up to 3 ghosts of increasingly difficult to deal with ethical questions until
I
they
wanna
wake
be
up
one of
different
those
people the
ghosts.
next day.
I'll be one
or
of those
me,
ghosts.
or they wake up with me aiming a gun at their face.
Listen,
I mean, one
I'm
or the
also
other.
do that.
I'm down for the Punisher version, but
I'm not into that.
You can do
get
that too. Yeah.
Scrooged is what I have to say to people who take jobs.
For everyone that is listening that is of the FBI or cop variety, Jesse, don't do that. Don't do it. This is me, Michael W. Spielman, saying, don't do that.
I promise.
All right.
For all of our audio listeners, it's worth checking out the YouTube sometimes. All I'm saying. My number 3 of the year. I know you both had some issues with it, and I have my issues with it as well. But holy shit, guys, we got another Armored Core game. Oh,
Yeah,
it was kind of fucking good too.
it's pretty good.
I have
It's
issues
not
with it.
it's not the best thing that From Software has put out, but I really enjoyed it.
here's
It's the third best Souls-like of the year.
I'll take that. No, yeah, and it deserves a number 3 for that. I think
And I wouldn't even say it's a Souls like, really.
the reason it is in
It's
my
got
list.
feel of it, but not really.
Yeah, the reason it is in my list and the reason I think I owe them such a huge compliment is this game could have been going for most cinematic, biggest story, and really could have run its nose into the shit by concentrating too much on making it a movie. And instead they poured into really quick, efficient loadout systems and really like gorgeous drop in, drop out play style. That's old school. That is old Nintendo 64. Like we are like this is people concentrating on games as gaming, and because of it, it gets these gorgeous cinematic moments in the gameplay where I feel like I did that, and I don't feel like I'm watching the cutscene that they predetermined for me. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with that. A
They made Armored Core
non-cinematic
3
big game.
again.
Yeah,
We
they
that's
made
the
Armored
thing.
Core 3 again. Yeah.
Armored Core 5 is so bad, and Armored Core 4 is okay. But
Yeah.
man, they really did make Armored Core 3 again, and it is such a compliment that they were just like, listen, we're going to make a mech fighting game that's really cool. And then I'm just like, man, I really could use like a Gundam game like this. That's not
Right.
PvP.
Surprise! We got the medicine for you.
Fucking- I
it
need a
yeah.
Gundam game so bad that's not fucking PvP bullshit, because that's all they
Yeah,
wanna fucking do.
exactly.
Hey, Bandai, stop fucking making PvP only fucking Gundam games, okay? Journey to Jaburo is still one of the best PS2 games. Fucking make another one of those, you fucking assholes. All right, I'm done. Okay?
That's my number 3. What
my
were you
Gundam
going to
ring.
say, Jesse?
I was gonna say that it's just nice that it's given this nice resurgence to the love of mechs, because
Yeah.
mech kind of died off for a little bit, and then this comes out. And it's like, oh shit! Holy fuck! This is awesome.
He says mechs died off for a bit to a Gundam fan. Yeah. Mechs
Oh,
never
fuck
die,
off.
asshole.
Mech's a lifestyle. Thank
But-
you.
Mech is a lifestyle.
But also, it's nice that it feels like your actions really influence the world. Like
Yeah.
there's a moment when I can't remember. It's a mission where you're trying to sneak through and not get caught.
Mhm.
It's like a stealth mission. There's a bunch of like mechs that are on the ground. You have to kind of like take out various mechs around you. And then there's one that's over by a destroyed mech, just kind of standing there. You have to take him on, and he gives you the option of either you can kill him and take his mech and take his reward, or let him live, and another mech comes in, and you have to fight them, and you can switch allegiances in the middle of the mission,
Yeah.
which opens up new missions later on. It's
Yeah,
like
it's great.
your actions change the game.
Armored
Yeah.
Core 3,
Like it
baby.
really feels like you're influencing the world.
I'm saying, it's such a good game. I see.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
it-
pouring
it's-
into
it's-
the gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
for
not
doing
my
what you do best.
It's not my favorite of the Souls-like games. Not my favorite software. I mean, the story itself. They say, "Oh, it's such a deep, intricate narrative."
What
Like the
story?
story is, what story?
And
Like
just because I know someone asked, well, what's Michael's top 4 rankings of the Souls likes this year? Wulong Fallen Dynasty is 1, Lords of the Falling 2023 is 2, Armored Core is 3, and Lies of P is last. I'm sorry, you guys can try to convince me that Lies of P is a fun game or it's a good game, but it's not. Stop lying to yourself. It's not good. It's a 6 at times. It's a 7 at best. Shut the fuck up with your bullshit. Go play Lords of the Fallen. That's actually a good one. Fuck.
Hell
you.
yeah.
I remember playing the original Lords of the Fallen. I was like,
Woo!
this
That
sucks.
game was bad.
Oh god, the first weapon you get, it like I was like swinging it. I hit the attack button one time, and it took like 3 seconds to swing that fucking hammer.
You guys want to
Dude.
play it? You
What
guys
is
want to
this
play
bullshit,
a Souls-like
man?
where you are the slowest thing in the fucking universe, even at the
Yeah.
lightest build? God, that game is bad. This one's so much better. Give it a chance
Oh,
if it's
God.
on sale. Looks the fun. Now that we've got our 3s out of the way, we'll go to a negative spot. What's your most disappointing game of the year?
Phew.
Start with Seth. on this one.
Yeah,
Most
start with you,
disappointing.
Seth. I gotta think
Starting
about
with
this.
me.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
This
I'm
one's gonna piss off some people.
yeah. I sorry guys. I hate to do it too. Alan Wake 2.
Ooh,
It's
wow.
it's too meta. It's too up its own ass. It is too masturbatory. I I'm not interested in playing and watching a game where the director of the game is within the game itself and commenting on himself. I feel like if I have to do your therapy as game homework, I'm not gonna have a great time.
That game is such a masturbation for Sam Lake. It's not even
Yeah.
funny. I can't stand
Yeah,
it
I mean,
sometimes.
I like the first one. I enjoyed it. It's just, I will say he does get a little head up his own ass. I mean, even Max Payne had that. Which, by the way, the actor of Max Payne and Alan Wake, James McCaffrey, just passed away. Pour one out for the homies.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. It
Yeah.
gives me that
I
Otis
saw the
Kid to
trailers
know
for it.
bit kind of mentality where it's just like it hits a certain part where it turns into a musical and I'm just going, oh yeah, you're so cool, man. Look at all the content you fit into this game. That was my takeaway. And just I liked the
Yeah.
first game a lot. I thought the first game was
Yeah.
really cool.
Did you play American Nightmare, the spinoff that kind of like wraps
No.
up the story?
No.
It was okay. It's kind of like a DLC that was because they didn't think they were going to get a second game at all because the first one tanked. So they made this kind of like spin-off game that was meant to like be a bridge to wrapping up the narrative, and it leaves it open-ended like a Twin Peaks finale.
Okay.
And then they said, "Oh, well, we're getting a second game." So American Nightmare is like just out of canon at this point. It's like a what if storyline.
Yeah.
I don't even think you can get it anywhere. So yeah, but it's I don't know. I saw the trailers. I was like, I don't know. Just I'm not. I think I'm over that storyline because it ended in a place where I was like, I'm happy with the ending. I was happy with the original ending. I'm like, I don't need more.
I'd rather have more control.
yeah.
Control to me
Control
is
was cool. That was a
way
really
more
cool game.
interesting.
Well, sure enough, you're getting a sequel next year.
Hell yeah.
And
I
maybe a
hope
movie I've heard potentially.
Yeah, well, every one of these has been optioned for a movie.
Oh,
Max
I bet.
Payne already got a movie. Control is going to be a movie. Alan Wake's
Honestly-
supposed to be getting a movie. Yeah.
Okay, okay. We need a new term for these interactive cinematic art installations that people are making that aren't quite movies but aren't quite video games where like I'm going to sit for an hour for a cutscene and then get 3 hours of gameplay at like what is this? What are we doing here? Why if I wanted to watch a movie, I'd watch a movie.
Yeah. Interactive circle jerk. I don't know.
I guess. And that's some games need a shit ton of cinematic when you're in like a Final Fantasy situation and you need to visually show like Gaia or something like that. But when your game is like centered around Stephen King essentially and like that universe of stuff, it just doesn't work. It's too much of a blend. It's like I don't know. It's like asking me to watch a mini series. I did 2 of those this year. That was enough.
Do you want to play Quantum Break?
That was another one that hit that same note of like, why don't you guys just make a cool movie? You know,
Yeah,
like, I'm not
there's
just
live
gonna
action-
make a movie.
It's in there.
There's live action segments in there. Like, what's the point?
It's in there. So great. Okay, well,
point?
I'll go from yours was too meta. Mine, there was too much freedom,
Oh,
and that is Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I
Oh,
have
you're
found
gonna get
it.
the worst hate mail.
I
You're
have
gonna get the
found
worst hate
it.
mail.
I have found too much open world. I have found it. There is just too much. I don't want this. I did not want this. I didn't like it in Breath of the Wild, but there was just no story. There's a little bit more story here. There's some improvements to things that I didn't like. The degradation system is still there, but there's just too much freedom. And I am just not giving a shit. I don't want to spend 300 hours building dumb shit in this fucking game. I just want to take Link on an adventure to fucking solve something. That's what I wanted. I wanted Link to be the hero and not all this overwhelming shit. And there's just too much overwhelming shit for me to really care. And then you get to the end of the game and I'm like, so it's just as bad as Breath of the Wild story, except there's just a little bit more explanation. And so I'm done with it. I'm so glad that the director of this game admitted that he's not doing another one like this. Thank fucking God. You got 2 out. Good job. Let's fucking do something the fuck else. because I don't like it. It was too much. I found it was too much, and I don't want that. I don't need a sandbox. I'm not a child. Fucking give me something a little bit more condensed. So to me, it was disappointing because I this is now a second Zelda game where I finished it and I actually felt exhausted. I was done. Well, most Zelda games they make me cry at the end, and I'm like, this is a beautiful. I just went on a nice adventure. This felt like work at times, and that's not what a game should be. And I fucking hated it because of it.
The
I think
underground
wasn't-
portion. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we're Dice Art and you and I were talking with Dice Art about this after we did the best of episode about a week back, and he said he was into it, but it wasn't the what's the seeds you have to find? There's like 1,000 of them.
Korok seeds, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing that. It feels like work, and I was like, yeah.
Well, and I because I agree with Mike's overall point here. The addition of the underground specifically at the cost of what could have been up in the sky, there is a much better map layout that isn't 3 levels of fuckery, like 3 entire maps that you have to unlock. So like I totally hear that point. That it's just too much. Just too much fucking tuna, man. You got to admit it's too much tuna.
Yeah. Is that why you also don't like Skyrim? Is because it's just like walk into a world that's just open.
But see, it's not. That's the thing. Skyrim is not just here's the world. Skyrim, there is little condensed stories throughout it that guide you along the way. There's also an overarching story that you can engage with.
Yeah, there's
completely by itself.
Way more story in Skyrim.
It's not like, hey, I'm gonna force you to have to use this mechanic that you really don't like, and you're probably not gonna want to use at all. And the only way you're going to be able to do a lot of the things you need to do in this game is you have to use this mechanic. Skyrim doesn't really do that. It doesn't have a mechanic that is bad. And so it's not like that. I do think that Skyrim is a generic story because it is.
Oh, yeah.
But
well, it has to be.
I have more. I would have more fun. First off, I'd have more fun playing Skyrim for the 80th time in 2023 than I would have had with Starfield.
Facts.
But
yeah, everybody agrees with you. Didn't the modders like they canceled the multiplayer? Like this game's boring.
Like, they made some improvements, but it still feels like Tears of the Kingdom's open world concept is 4 years in the past. There is still a lack of guidance within it. Their map design is still absolutely fucking horrendous. Like it's literally a sandbox. It's meant to be the most free open world game I have ever seen, and I fucking hate it. I found my cap, and I will like if this is what the next Zelda is, I think I can honestly say I'm done.
I can't imagine them doing this again.
No,
like,
he already said he's not.
Well, and especially with games like Jedi Survivor showing how to mix open world and Metroidvania style gameplay or level design. Anyways, they've really mixed that well in a way that makes me kind of scratch my head and go, Zelda could do this way better. Oh my god! Like some of the puzzle sections in the Jedi games are like just ripoffs of Zelda stuff. So yeah, I hear you there, Mikey. I could see why that might be a little disappointing for you. Jesse, how about you? What was your letdown this year?
The Resident Evil 4 remake.
The game of the year?
Oh, for fuck's sake, no. I did not. I think that it is a completely. If you've never played the original game, you'd walk in and be like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not bad. It's just like the other ones." Here's the thing, though: the original Resident Evil 4, it felt fast. It felt fast. It felt frenetic. It had this kind of like this sense of humor to it. Like it's like we know this is dumb, guys. We know this is silly.
They're getting away with a joke back then. Like that's
it's all a joke. Like the laser grid sequence, it's clearly just like making fun of the first Resident Evil movie in the laser grid rooms. Like they were clearly making fun of it, and then they remove it from the main game, and only in Ada's side mission do you actually get to play that, which I never even play because I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this shit again. It also like your weapons reload slower, your movement is slower, the enemies they seem like they're also not as aggressive sometimes. It's weird. I felt like I was playing a game that felt like it was missing the energy. Well, not half-assed, but it felt like it was missing the energy and the fun. I mean, it's a completely competent, well-made game. There's some good stuff in it, but they cut out
remake.
Yeah, they cut out a lot of really good shit, like the stuff that happens in the containers where that spiky monster is chasing you between the containers. They completely cut that section. There's just all these
Wow.
fun moments that they just completely excise. They excise about like a third of the game, and they
That's a
said, "Oh
lot.
no, it's a remake." No, it's not
No,
a remake.
it's not, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, they got rid of the giant robot that chases you down the hallway. Like the one thing I'm happy they got rid of was a lot of the QuickTime shit. I'm like, that could go.
Yeah,
like
that
that
shit was dumb.
wholesale can go. That game started the QuickTime stuff, and then everybody kept fucking doing it. And by the point you got around to the 6th Resident Evil game, it was like, okay, fucking stop. Every 2 seconds is the QuickTime event.
I do think it's funny that in a year that had 2 big horror remasters, remakes, that
And one of the others I'm going to talk about in a second. Yeah.
everyone harped on how good Resident Evil 4 was, and I'm like,
No.
but Dead Space is 3 billion times better.
Yeah. And that's almost a moment-to-moment remake,
Yeah.
but it feels good.
That felt
It feels
like a remake.
satisfying.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
I was
The
so
things that worked,
baffled.
they kept. The things that didn't work, they got rid of.
When the corporate
You know?
chill awards, I mean the game awards, came out and put
No, that's what they're called. That's what they're called.
Resident Evil 4 as one of their game of the years, and I went, but if we're gonna add a remake, why the fuck is Dead Space not here? Like that's when I was like, you are such a fucking corporate chill. Because why was Resident Evil 4 on that list? What was their big reveal? A fucking Capcom game. So of course they're going to put a fucking Capcom game in their fucking game of the year. Fuck off, Jeff Keighley, and your fucking chillness. God, it pissed me off. As soon as that trailer started, I went, that's why Resident Evil's fucking in here. Fuck you. Oh, I'm so pissed at that shit. Him and his fucking bullshit. Ugh. I'm with you. Fuck Resident Evil 4. I think we were texting while about Resident Evil 4 live.
Yeah.
Fuck this
I was
game.
like, what? I was like, why am I not engaged with this? Why am I not enjoying this? Like the whole helicopter sequence was so much fun in the original. I just felt kind of bored with it. In the
Boring.
remake.
Yeah. All right.
It's very boring. It's very, very boring. That like just this story in the Resident Evil universe is so fucking ridiculous and so dumb. You can't take this shit seriously. Like I was willing to give a lot of credit to the Resident Evil 2 remake. That was a good time.
That was a good one.
And the Resident Evil 3 remake was like, it's like an expansion pack. It's not even a full game. It's like, oh, it was fine.
Yeah.
But then you get to this, and it's like, why are you going to remake one of the greatest games ever made? And the reason it was one of the greatest games ever made is because they said, this is fucking dumb. We know. We're well aware. And so we're just going to lean right into that. And they took all that out. So what are you left with? A generic shooter.
I honestly think of all the remasters this year, Resident Evil 4 was the second worst. The worst one, of course, was the Tales of Symphonia remaster that was somehow more expensive than when they did it on PS3 with... So Tales of Symphonia had a sequel, by the way. The PS3 version was $50 and had both of those games. This is a remaster of just the first one, and it was $60, and it was a absolute atrocity. Looked like shit. In a year that had the Dead Space remake, the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters finally got released on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, and those things are fucking beautiful. Resident Evil, I'm like, this is kind of meh. And they changed shit, and it just wasn't good. So I'm still with being disappointed by that game. That game irritates me. I don't think like if that was your introduction to Resident Evil 4, just know that's not Resident Evil 4. The real one that is way better is somewhere else. Like that's not the game. But
yeah, and you can actually get the original Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store for cheaper.
I would say just
and it's a better game.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to our second favorite game of the year. What is number 2 for you, Mr. Fresco?
Well, while we're on the subject of shooters and remakes, Dead Space.
There you go. All right, bring us back.
Dude, that Dead Space remake was fucking great, man. It was really good.
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
I'd pay
all
$70
the shit.
for that fucking game.
So did I. All the shit that didn't work in the original that they eventually retconned for the second one, like they gave him a voice, they added in the zero G combat, all the stuff that was in the sequels, they put it into the original, and oh my god, it works so much better.
Nice.
Holy shit,
dude,
it
that's
works.
so cool.
It's so much better.
That game
Fixes
is
a
so
lot of
good.
the problems. Yeah, they fix a lot of the problems. They've also Didn't they add in like a random
Yeah.
item generation element at times? Sometimes things will not be in the same spots, and so it makes it a little bit tougher sometimes. It's still, I wouldn't say it's like the hardest game for Renate unless you play on the absolute hardest difficulty where it is punishing
It's
to get
fucking
through it.
rough.
Oh my god!
game,
Like
though.
you better get used to that curb stomp. You're going to be using it over and over again because
You better master
there is
using,
no ammo.
better master using that laser cutter.
Oh, you better get used to it. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Gotta love
And also,
that
if you die, you got to go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, you do.
All over again.
Yeah, you
Oh
do.
yeah.
I know people who've beaten that
Yeah.
game.
Bend over. I'm going in dry.
There's no
Jesus
saves. There's no
Christ.
checkpoints. You die, you start all the way the fuck over. It's so old school in that. Oh, I love that game. God, I love
Oh.
Dead Space remake. Fuck you
Oh my
fuckers for
God.
not playing it. All right,
Yeah.
baby.
I would love a remake of Dead Space 2 and
Yes.
3 so we can
Yeah,
fix
fuck
all
it.
the problems of 3. Like,
Yeah.
3, the creator of 3 even came out and said, yeah, if I had a chance to do it again, I would just change everything.
Sweet.
It's like, here's your opportunity.
It sold really well.
Here's your opportunity.
Let's do 2 and then
Yeah.
let's move on to 3. Fuck it. Give it to me.
Fuck it. Yeah, do it. Remake that whole trilogy.
Love it. It's a great trilogy.
Yeah.
All right, Seth Daddy. What's your
Is-
number 2?
My number 2 of this year, unfortunately, was your letdown of this year. It was Tears
Yeah.
of the Kingdom,
I
baby.
figured it would be.
We're still playing it in this house, baby.
figured it
Lexi
would be.
will literally lay out on the couch every night, like since it has come out, Switch in hand. She's doing all the Koroks. She's doing everything underground. She's doing everything up in the sky. She's doing everything you can possibly do in the game. And I'm not a scavenger.
So when does this person sleep?
I'm not a scavenger in games like this. I tend to play really hard and fast. I don't use the recipes. I'm trying to like be good at the combat and not take hits. And so like I play in a way that makes it more engaging and harder for me. She's a scavenger. She's picking up every single fucking item that you possibly can as she plays.
God.
And so it is yeah, it's taken over. It has been here since it came out. I'm super impressed with the building mechanic in this game. Like just beyond any other issues that could be found in the game. The build in the game itself is such a cool tool to fuck around and play with. It is turned in it when you cultural impact is something that's really losing its meaning to me lately, but there was absolutely an impact from this game, and you could see the way that people who were into engineering were teaching entire like physics classes around Tears of the Kingdom videos to be like, look, I can show you how it works right here. I really dig that. I dig games that help us interact with our real world in a way that makes us more aware of just of how things work. And so I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the series in general. I mean, I've got a fucking Zelda tattoo behind each ear. I've got the thing on my hand. Like I'm a hardcore fan. So I don't normally put.
Fan. He doesn't know it's a Triforce.
Oh, whatever.
It
It was nice to see all the creativity, the things people would build. Like somebody built like the Tumbler from Batman Begins.
Right.
Somebody built
They built mechs in that game too. Yeah.
They built mechs. They built a Metal Gear. They
Yeah.
built an airship from Final Fantasy. It's like
Yeah.
it's creative. You know, it's fun. I mean, granted, you can't run them for very long because you run out of power. But it's still
I know
Right.
some people
it's
who
kinda
really
cool.
learn how to run
It's
those
kinda
fuckers.
Yeah, you can farm
Yeah.
Zonite. There's ways to do the Zonite farming where you can really give yourself a ton of power. Like the game has a lot of like space before you really hit the edges. And I really do see all the complaints. Like I think Breath of the Wild, I had a hard time believing Mike when he was like, this is a shit ass game, dude. Like it's only halfway there. And I didn't believe him. Like I'll say it live on air. I took that L when Tears of the Kingdom came out. I was like, wow, they could have done that so much better, couldn't they? Holy shit. I see that you're still not on board, and so maybe I'll take a second L on this one. Maybe I will, but like,
it's no. This one, if you've noticed, I'm not as combative with people about Tears.
truly, yeah, I will grant you that absolutely.
the reason
It's just not for you. It's just
Yeah.
not for you.
This game is exactly what I wished Breath of the Wild was. It actually feels more. It feels more new. It's just there is just too much. Like it is the most freedom I have ever seen in a video game.
Yeah,
Which is it's so impressive, but it's just too much for me with my limited time now. If this was like 13-year-old Michael,
totally.
fucking in. But 36-year-old Michael,
I get it.
that's exhausting amount of shit.
Let
But-
me ask you. Let me ask you this. A rephrase for anybody, because I know I don't want anybody listening to be mad at anybody's choices here.
I don't give a fuck. Be mad at me all I want.
These are all our opinions.
I also
This
don't
is
like
just,
Red
this
Dead
is just
Redemption
subjective
2.
opinions.
All-
I also
all our-
hate Red Dead Redemption 2. What are you gonna fucking do? I don't fucking care. Suck it.
Let me ask you an olive branching question. Had Breath of the Wild been Tears of the Kingdom when it launched, would you have been excited for a sequel if they were announcing a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom being the first game?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I probably because it Tears of the
It
Kingdom
would have found
is-
its way up from your
Yes.
most disappointing. It would have found its way up from your worst to most disappointing.
Yeah, the biggest problem is I just didn't have time this year, and it was
Yeah.
just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, my second most disappointing was Starfield. It would have easily taken that spot, but
Yeah.
it was just too much. I didn't really like where we went with things. I didn't have as much time to explore the underground. I fucking hate those stupid fucking collectibles with the Kuroks. Go fuck yourself. The building kind of pissed me off because it was just kind of annoying for me at times. I just wanted to fucking be Link, be on an adventure, and I think it just exhausted me after the tutorial, which took me. You can ask Seth because I just had such little time to play. He was like, "Oh, I'm doing this, this, and this." I'm like, "I'm still on the first island," and it was like 2 weeks after, just because I just couldn't get the time to play that game.
Yeah.
And then when I
yeah.
finally did, I didn't like the product. But I can see with this game, this one is more me. I see its spark. I see what it did. I watched all those TikToks, and I appreciate what it did for the culture.
Mm,
But for me, I was disappointed that it was just too much, and it disappointed me.
yeah.
That I'm at a point now with Zelda where if the next one is like this, I'm probably not even gonna pick it up. And that's why it's disappointing to me, is because Zelda was one of my first ever franchises, and I'm now at a point where beating this game and rolling credits doesn't make me cry like it used to. It makes me fucking, oh my god, Jesus Christ! I fucking need to go take a nap, and I'm just
heard, dude. That underground
I don't
shit
want
had
that.
me questioning if I was going to complete the game or not. I won't lie.
I just didn't want to at that point, but I get why people like it. For me, I think I'm gonna have the first big weird game on this list. And
What's
I know
your
people
weird number two? Okay.
I know people were going to. I don't think it's weird. It's weird to the people who probably listen to this show. My second game on my list is a free to play game called Honkai.
Already lost my interest, dude.
Called Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail. I have almost 140 hours in this fucking game that came
Oh
out
my
in
God.
April. This is
And yet you
not-
have no time for Tears of the Kingdom.
This is
This
not
is why.
a free-to-play game. This game is not a free-to-play game. There is a Star Ocean meets Galaxy Railway meets Star Trek level story going on around some corruption that is happening on different planets that you are essentially a clone that is going around trying to solve. It is a turn-based game as well. It is absolutely incredible with its execution. The way that its gacha mechanics aren't really that predatory at all. It might be the least predatory free-to-play game I've ever played in my life.
Wow.
You do not need to put money into this game. They will give you a bunch of free characters, and you get a bunch of rewards as you play this game. And the one thing that they do that a lot of free-to-play games don't do is, as they've been updating the game, they obviously have events. Those events are still accessible even after the update is gone, which is very against the norm of free-to-play games. So you still have a ton of content to play pretty much at all times until you get to a certain point. Like me, I'm in the in-game. I'm waiting for the new planet, which will come out next year. And that's how, I mean, these guys make Genshin Impact, and this game spoke to me this year, and that was why if I had time to play it, I could pick this game up. I could put 30 minutes to an hour in it. I'd be done with like daily stuff I need to do, and then I could move on. I didn't necessarily have to advance the story all the time, so it allowed for my time management to be better. And because of that time management, I was able to put in a lot of time because I was picking it up for 30 minutes to an hour every day. Like this game is probably the reason I bought a PlayStation Portal. was because
Wow.
I can, I'm doing something at work. I have it up on my computer. I pick up my portal. I get in there. An hour later, I'm done with the stuff I need to do in Honkai, and I'm back at work. It's an engaging game. It's fucking gorgeous. It might be one of the prettiest games I have played this year, and it is one of those where I usually don't talk about the free to play shit that I play, but my God, did this game do things for me this year that I haven't felt in a while. There's not too many games not called Final Fantasy that make me just dive into
Right.
you. And
Yeah.
this game did it. And there were multiple times where I looked up and I went, this is a fucking free to play game. How the fuck is this a free to play game? It is absolutely stellar and impressive. And if you haven't played it and anything I'm saying sounds interesting, give it a download. You don't have to put a fucking dime into the game to enjoy this game. It is totally.
Do they get all their revenue from advertising? Is that what they do?
I mean, you can. I mean, they have like a battle pass that you can buy for each update.
Okay.
You can give it money if you're one of those people, but you don't need to if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You really don't. They do give you the ability to really enjoy the game.
Okay, so
without
it's not a
money.
predatory, give us
Not-
your money to
yeah,
win kind
It
of
is
game.
not predatory in the way that it executes. It's really well done, and
Wow.
That's a first.
that
Wow.
is especially since it's from a Chinese company, and most of the time, like Genshin's not as predatory either. They do a good job with Genshin, but I think Honkai is way less gacha than even Genshin was, and
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
insane. That a Chinese company making their fourth free to play game, I think no, third, because they have Honkai Impact third, Genshin Impact, and Honkai Star Rail, and then they have another one coming out next year called Zenless Zone Zero, and all their games are free to play RPGs in certain ways. Some of them are action RPGs, some of them are turn based. But Hoyoverse just nails it, and this game just spoke to me, just like
Wow.
Genshin did when it came out. Breath of the Wild left a hole in me that I was like, man, I really want something like this. Genshin Impact filled that hole immediately. I put over 100 hours into Genshin for the same reason, because I just didn't like the way Breath of the Wild was, but Genshin was that, but it was more RPG, and it spoke to me. And Honkai's the same way. I really wanted something kind of turn-based, but that had a little flavor to it, and it hit on a level I was not expecting.
Well, and that's a level of trust that I'm honestly shocked to hear about with a free to play game not being predatory. So, like, you have nothing to lose but your time. It sounds like.
Yep. It's gonna suck your time in. If you want to give it money, you can. You don't have to though. Like I give it. I buy the battle pass for the past two updates, which is the only two updates that I've been able to buy, and they're consistent too. By the way, their consistency is insane.
Wow.
They will start their updates are every 2 months. Like clockwork. 1.6 literally comes out on Wednesday, and then the next update will be called 2.0, and every prime number, so every 2, 3, 4, every .0, they're adding a new planet. So they're constantly putting in content. Every 2 months they're putting in new content to this game, new characters, new events, new things for you to do. And that consistency, they've been doing it with Genshin. Genshin's up to 4.3. So just to tell you how much content, I loaded back Genshin earlier this year, and there is probably close to 400 hours additional content in Genshin Impact right now. That's just how consistent they update, and their games are great. And so,
damn, free to play is eating good right now. All right.
Not all free to play is good. Honkai Star Rail might be the best free to play game I've ever played.
Hell yeah.
Besides Warframe. Warframe might be number one, but Honkai is so good.
That, I mean, sounds like a free download. So if you're listening, you can check this out immediately. Jesse, what's your number 2? I'm interested.
He said Dead Space.
I told you. I said Dead Space.
Dead Space.
We're off.
Sorry. Well, then let us before we jump into our number ones. Do we have
the worst?
The
worst game.
I was gonna be nice, and we were just gonna stick to disappointing. Let's go with our most anticipated game of. What's our dark?
I was gonna go Dark Horse. What was our oh wow, this game does not deserve to be this good, but doesn't quite make our top ranking kind of thing?
Lies of P.
Yeah.
Lies of P. It's okay. It's not great. It's just I wasn't engaged very much by the story, and you can tell when somebody's really trying to imitate the Dark Souls formula, but not quite doing it as well as they could. I could not really grasp the parrying system. I beat I got to the last boss and I just finally said, "Fuck it, it's
Oh,
too
yeah.
hard. I give
I'll
up."
look up the
I w-
cutscene.
There,
That guy's
there
an
is
asshole. Fuck that.
that
fuck.
final boss. There, the difficulty spike in the last 2 hours of the game just goes like this, and then this. It just skyrockets. I was like,
Why?
"Holy fuck, man!"
Just how
Like,
the
I don't
game
think
was.
that they play tested the last act of the game, and so it just got so fucking hard. I was like grinding and grinding to get stronger and stronger, and nothing worked. And I finally was like, you know what? I have better shit to do. I'll look up the ending online. So I never actually finished the game. I got to the last boss and I said, "Fuck it."
Wizard of Oz with Dorothy.
Yeah, they set up Peter Pan as well. They're doing a sequel to Peter Pan because all these are public domain.
Yeah.
They're doing
This-
it all public domain.
This
Yeah.
feels
my
like
eyes.
what Epic Mickey was initially pitched as way back in the day.
Yes. That
Yeah.
piece of shit. Ugh. God, what a waste of
Oh.
everyone's time.
What? Because they pitched it as something and turned into a kid's game. Like, what the fuck
Epic
happened
Mickey
there?
2 was shit. Epic Mickey 1 is great. Yeah, I didn't like Lies of
No.
P.
Did you have
It's
a dark horse, Mike?
Oh yeah, Sea of Stars.
Sea of
Where the-
Stars.
Where the fuck did that game come from? I played a demo of that game and I went, this game might be fucking incredible. And then it came out and I read all the reviews. I'm like, yeah, this game's fucking incredible. I mean, just this retro RPG with kind of some action mechanics built into some of the skills that you use, telling this really interesting story. And it's honestly just so heartfelt and just so well put together that I think the closest game I could compare it to is like Final Fantasy X with its anti-tech story. There's like a technology story about that. And it is fucking insane. There's like time paradoxes and shit in it too. It goes some fucking places and it gives you that old school JRPG vibe.
Chrono Trigger is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, there's a lot of Chrono Trigger. There's a little Suikoden in there. It's so good, and it begs to be played.
Hell
It
yeah.
really does. I was like, oh man, if it wasn't for the fact that Wulong has just been completely fucking ignored and it pissed me off, I was like, nah, I gotta fucking put Wulong on my list. And so Sea of Stars to me is 4. It is literally one of my favorite games of the year, and I'm probably gonna go back through and play it again. Game sold really well and it deserved to. Shout out to that studio. The last game that they did was like The Messenger, which is a really good side-scrolling kind of homage to Shinobi. Really good game. Those guys know what they're doing. Can't wait to see what they do next. Love these guys. But yeah, Sea of Stars, probably one of the best RPGs of the year.
Wow.
What about you, Seth? What was your dark horse?
Chants of Sonar. Did you guys hear about or check this out?
I have not even heard of this.
Did you play Journey a few years back?
Yeah.
Journey left such an impact on me, and I've been looking for games like it ever since. Chants of Sonar visually kind of fits the similar palette. It's a different kind of
vibe games, basically a vibe game.
Well, and it's a puzzle game about language.
Yeah, it's got nouns, verbs, and adjectives in it or something, right?
It's really cool. You decode back into a legible language to yourself. The setting is like really cool. It's a unique gameplay. Gameplay's been my big push this year. Like, I'm so sick of cinematic shit. So all of my tops are like, what had actual good gameplay to it? And this was one of those that like I got sucked in. It was so easy to get sucked into it. Just like Journey, it's not super long, so you're not overcommitting to a lot. But yeah, the chance of Sennaar, if you're looking it up, the chance of Senar.
Okay, that is a good dark horse. That is. I like that there were a couple indie games on our dark horses.
Had to, man. You got to check out the indie games.
Yeah, you're gonna find some gems in some of these indie games. Like,
oh yeah,
that's a good one. All right, gentlemen,
is it number 1 o'clock?
Number 1.
Number 1 o'clock.
Who wants to go first?
Seth.
I'll start us out. So I was as shocked as everyone to find out that The Lord of the Rings Gollum was coming out this year.
You asshole! You fucking asshole!
Oh, boy.
God!
I couldn't help but... I needed
God,
one zinger in there. Come on, man.
You
That game was a
fucking
piece
dick.
of shit. What the fuck happened?
Did you know that they made
Why?
another game this year about The Walking Dead?
Oh yeah,
Just
Walking
some of
Dead
the
game.
worst.
Dude,
Is that company just make? Do they make just trash and just sell everything based on the brand?
here's my question: how do you have a legacy brand like Lord of the Rings and go in with a company like that? Are they just handing the IP out to people on the street? Because I'll take one too. Holy
Well,
shit!
Warner Brothers has been fucking up left and right
Oh.
this year. So yeah, I think they may have just done that, Seth.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, rough.
So-
Sorry. Thank you for the space to bring that up.
Yeah, can't wait for both of you to have the same game of the year. Go ahead, Seth. What's your actual game of the year?
You think I'm gonna have the same game of the year as Jesse Fresco?
Go ahead. Let's say what yours is.
All right, guys.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Take it away, Jesse. Go run with it.
Baldur's Gate. It's Baldur's Gate 3, isn't it?
No, that's not mine. But no, you please.
Yeah, there you go, you asshole.
Oh my god, I thought both of you were gonna have the
I
same.
have not played Baldur's Gate. I keep saying
Yes, you played it.
Don't do
it's
it.
not my play style. This is not my
Don't
kind of
do it.
game, so I don't even want to comment
Not
on
his
it.
kind of
I'm
game.
glad that it was
Yeah.
great.
Don't do it.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Holy fuck. I haven't finished the game because it is.
Shit.
When you're talking about time investment, god damn, dude.
200
That's
hours.
one game where I would say, yeah, take some shit out,
Yeah.
man. It's like what can't you do in the game? That's a shorter list than what you can do. Like, yeah, like oh god, the amount of variety, the characters, the writing, the visuals, it's beautifully made. It's just, I mean, it's also probably the horniest game ever made.
Yeah, sex is back, baby. We're
Yeah,
fucking
and
in
they-
2024.
And the programmers, when that came out, that everyone's trying to hook up with your character, they said, "Oh, that was a coding error." Yeah, bullshit. No, everyone in your party is
Oh,
horny
man.
and wants you inside them immediately.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Like the moment Karlak shows up, she's like, "I need you in me now." It's
You don't
like,
have that interaction with women in real life?
So okay,
Sometimes you just get told that.
no, women will drop to their knees for me. There, Mike.
I love that the basic pitch for the game is, oh, would you have also wanted to fuck everyone from the Fellowship of the Rings? That's your game. Dude, people got horny for Lord of the Rings. Baldur's Gate saw it, and they were like, yes, you can fuck your whole team. Actually, that's a good idea.
What a great year for Dungeons and Dragons, huh? And then
Dude,
fuck
right?
Hasbro.
Great movie.
Well, except for the Hasbro thing.
Fuck you, Hasbro.
Well.
Fuck you, Hasbro.
Get
Fuck you,
Scrooged.
Hasbro.
All right, Seth.
You fucks. I will
Okay.
show up at your house and put a fucking magnum in your mouth. You
He
piece
My-
will
of
not
shit.
do that.
my
I- Allegedly.
my for real number one game of the year, the favorite game that I have played all year. I'm split. I don't like giving my favorites to sequels. I tend to not feel like they earn the step up from the previous in most cases. Tears of the
some do.
Kingdom was a very glaring obvious step up, so I'm willing to take it in that case. Spider-Man 2 would have taken my first because I want these people to be writing the comics. We've had so many Spider-Man stinkers of stories lately that they came through with
Yeah.
a genuinely cool redesign on this world. And so I wish it could be my number one. But now it has an army of incels behind it that are
Yeah,
mad
fuck
that
that
it's
shit.
not number one. So on principle, it's not my number one.
Thank
On
you. That's
principle.
good principle. That's good
Yeah.
principle to be on. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a cool
God.
game. It's great in chunks. It's also boring as fucking
Yeah,
chunks.
I haven't
Let's be
finished
really
it.
honest.
It's
Please stop with the Mary Jane stealth sequences. Please, just enough of that shit.
like them this
Nobody
time.
likes it.
I like them. I like that she
But
can
it
fight
just-
back.
The Mary Jane stuff got the upgrade because they gave her the stun gun, but now you have to play as fucking twink Peter Parker in high school for like a half hour, and he can't do shit. And it's like, why? Anyways,
So dumb.
the game.
They had to get Tom Holland in the game somehow.
I don't fucking like that game. I don't like Spider-Man 2. I can't get through the fucking game. I'm like, I hate this game. I think I hate this game. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
the story's really cool. The gameplay, I mean, I'm good at that. That is my style of gameplay. So like, I'm obviously going to show up for something like that. But yeah, the outcry ever since has not been cool. So I'm kind of distancing myself.
Yeah, it's made it real hard to want to fucking play that game. So what is
Yeah.
your number one?
My number one is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. They put a unique spin on every level. It's reinventing nothing else. But here's the thing: it's not the best game of the year. But that's not my claim. My claim is this was my number one favorite game to play
Your
this year.
number one game.
Yeah.
That's right. The additive items are fun and unique. The twist of the
Fucking
seeds,
love that elephant, bro.
dude. The elephant is so much fun, and I love everybody gets a unique elephant design as well.
I love it.
They've changed the formula from what I grew up on in a way that I feel like I could sit down with my own family
Mhm.
and get exactly the same feeling that I got playing with my family when I was a
Yeah.
kid. But now it's more accessible. They have invincible characters for the young kids to play along with and not get frustrated at the game. They have like the accessibility to Mario is now part of the design of the games, and it's so cool to watch that move along in a brand new unique way. This is a different graphical style that we've ever seen them try out in any of their games. It's trippy as fuck, like acid rock as the background to like your visual style for your Mario game. That's a bitch.
It's,
That's a
it's
bitch.
it's so good, and I streamed it with Drake a couple times, and it just puts you in a good mood.
Yeah.
It's so like, you know, when Corporate Chill Awards released their list and I saw Mario Wonder on there, I was like, at first I was like, no, you don't belong in there, and then I went, you know what, you actually do, because
Yeah.
you actually, like, I have been so Nintendo to me feels like we give them gold stars for doing stuff that everyone else has been doing for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's just that they polish the shit out of it, but man, this was the first time I went, yeah, this game's, you know, nothing really, but God, I just love the simplicity uh with 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 this game, and the way that it just was so fun and so entertaining. It's just like Odyssey. Like, to me,
Odyssey.
unlike
Yeah.
the two Zelda games on the Switch, which have taken me not wanting to die from Zelda, I actually think my love for Mario is back because of Odyssey and Wonder. I think both
Yeah.
of them, because of their approach, made me be like, man, you know what? I fucking like Mario again.
They're staying fresh and unique with the character. Like
They are.
even for as samey as the movie was this year,
I
the
liked it.
games are still trying new shit. And like,
Listen,
thanks,
listen.
guys.
When you have a son, when you have an autistic child, and when he has a tell, and that tell is him stimming when he likes something,
Mhm.
that stem is the most joy you will feel in your life. And so I always sit next to him when we go to the movies, and everyone went to the movies this year. This was Olivia's first movie in the theater, was Super Mario Brothers. And Drake was stimming almost the entire time. This is the second movie that he did that to. He did that with Sonic.
What was the other one?
Hedgehog.
Sonic? Yeah,
He
Sonic.
did it with Sonic 2 as well. And I'm sorry, but I can't hate something that just brought that much joy to this boy. And he did the same thing with Wonder. He would put his Switch down and he would start stimming because he was so excited that he got to play this game. He only ever does that with Kirby usually. And I can't hate something that he loved so much. I just can't do it. And I
Yeah.
refuse to.
Oh,
so,
by the way, that
love
Kirby
Wonder.
we got last year, fucking fuego, fire shit.
We got a Kirby
that
game this year too.
So good.
We got it.
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
the deluxe.
yeah, that's a remake that we got too. The Kirby
Yeah.
game that's fucking incredible too.
So
Looks
we've
at
got
Resident Evil.
Jesse's horny number one. We've got my family number one. Mike, what was your number one of the year? And why?
Don't
was
say
it?
those two things side by side.
You got to get horny to make families, man. I don't know if you don't know
Oh,
about this.
fucking Mike, move
No,
on.
it's funny. You're horny. Your family. I got a little bit of both. My number one was Final Fantasy 16.
Shocker.
And it probably wasn't even close. Anyone who knows me knows that I love RPGs, but a story that I don't tell a lot is Final Fantasy saved my life when I was a kid. I was abused a lot. I was bullied a lot. And there was times where I was close to ending my own life as a child. And one day my mom took me to Family Video, and I saw on the shelf a blonde-haired guy looking up at a tower with a giant fucking sword. And I said,
That's me.
I want to play that.
Mm.
And since that moment on, I have played every Final Fantasy game, and I only haven't beaten 2 of those games. It's 5 and 6. I'm still playing them now. But Final Fantasy 16, as this was the year I've been playing through the Pixel remasters as well, it felt like a return. It felt like home. It felt like Final Fantasy went to a place that hasn't been in a bit. And it was dark at times, it was raw at times, and it was a light in the darkness, which was what Final Fantasy always was for me, was a light during a dark time. And this game was that on so many levels, with an incredible composition by Masayoshi Soken.
Mhm.
And what Yoshi P did, what Naoki Yoshida did, what Hiroshi Minagawa, what everyone on this development team did, they literally took the best parts of some of the greatest games that they've ever made. I mean, we had Ryota Suzuki was the battle engineer, and we created what has to be one of the most satisfying things I have ever played in a while, with a story that at times was a gut punch.
Mm.
And like I've said with Zelda used to make me cry. I, at the end of this game, was bawling my eyes out. 1, because I beat such an emotional game. And
Yeah.
2, because it did feel like home. It did feel like a return to something that has been missing in me. Like Final Fantasy 15, I loved it. Loved the ending. It made me cry. But there was something different about the way 16 was executed in the way that it played out. And it is at times very simple with the way that it tells its story, and at times it's very complex, and then it gets fucking weird, which it's meant to do.
I mean, Final Fantasy, it's gonna get weird.
It's gonna get weird. Anyone who
Yeah.
thinks it's not gonna get weird, you've never played a fucking Final Fantasy game. They go to the fucking moon in 4, guys. Like, they get fucking
Oh,
weird
yeah.
all the time.
I remember that.
So they just created a world that you wanted to be in, a story that you wanted to engage with, characters that you just had. I mean, some of the side quests, I had tears in my eyes learning more about some of these side characters. They literally crafted one of the best, most complete Final Fantasy games in my eyes ever. And personally, as I've been, I'm playing through Echoes of the Fallen right now, which is the first DLC for that game. I think it's solidifying that Final Fantasy 16 might be one of the top 3 Final Fantasy games of all time.
Wow.
For me, like right now, it's hovering right below 10, which 10 is my all-time favorite. Then it's 16, and then 4 is number 3 for me. I still haven't played through 6, so everyone who's like screaming at me that 6 is better, I haven't played through it fully yet for me to put it on this list. I've played pieces.
Is that the one? Is that the one with Cecil? Is that this?
Cecil is the one, is 4, yeah, and then 6 is the one with Terra. So take that, woke mob. There's girl 6, but yeah, for me it's always Final Fantasy. I think that was the only thing at the Game Awards that pissed me off. While I do believe that the guy who played Astarion did a great job, what Ben Starr did as Clive, the range that he had to go through and the brutality of that. I'm sorry, but there was no one who put on a better performance this year. And and not shocker, the man's a fucking huge Final Fantasy fan, and it showed in every single second of his performance. If you have not played Final Fantasy 16, I absolutely recommend that you pick it up. It is worth your time. It is engaging. It is gorgeous. There are cinematic moments, and then there are cinematic moments that you're fucking playing. It is one of the best blends of some things that we have learned to hate, but they do it in a way that we haven't seen since like Asura's Wrath. And
wow, what a callback. Okay.
It deserves your time.
Are you fighting God at the end of this one for real? For real?
Hey, spoilers for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, you do fight technically God at the end of this game.
You fight God at the end of multiple Final Fantasy
Oh
games,
yeah,
don't you?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You fight
Yeah, there's
multiple.
always, like, a-
Yeah, you fought gods before. I mean, yeah, you fight gods all the time. I mean, you fight essentially.
Or the literal God. Was like 13 Lightning Returns? You literally are trying to rescue people for the Rapture. Isn't
Yeah,
that what that
13
game was?
yeah, Lightning Returns your
Oh
first.
God.
Yeah, like
I'm not even kidding.
I mean, 10 you fight the embodiment of sin, which is your father. I mean, you do fight a lot of gods. This one, technically, you are fighting God at the end of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Man, it's just I could talk about that game and everything it did right for
Well,
the rest of my life.
I have no doubt many of those games are pushing 100 hours of game time within them too, right?
Yeah.
50
But
hours.
let's
Yeah,
after
60.
looking back at 2023 together, you guys want to look forward at 2024? What are we excited for next year? They've had some big announcements.
I'm putting a cap on myself. I'm not going to mention Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Obviously, there's that coming out. The new Metal Gear Solid Delta. I mean,
Delta.
the remake of 3. I hate the fact that Kojima's in no way involved, and they're not even re-recording any of the dialogue. It's using the old audio files,
Really?
which kind of bothers me. Yeah, they're not even re-recording.
I think I'm okay with it.
David Hayter even said that they're not re-recording. It's like they're just using old audio files. Like, well, what? The performances in that game were not great. Like, you could get better performances.
Yeah.
I'm okay
You know,
with it.
it's just you have every opportunity to do that and change stuff, but it's like, all right, it's just a visual upgrade, whatever. I don't care. I mean, that might be good. Who knows? I'm interested. But why start with 3? Why not do the original? Why not
They
fix
picked
the
a
elements of
good game.
2? Shut up. Moving on. Seth, what do you?
Wait, is 3 the first chronologically? Or is 3 which one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Chronologically,
probably
that is the first.
That's probably
Oh, they're gonna go. They're gonna
bet
do
you
them in
they're gonna
order.
Go chronologically. Yep. Bet you.
So then that would mean the next one would be Peace Walker? No.
Maybe. God, I can't remember that fucking timeline. Oh my
Fuck.
god, that
Oh
timeline.
my god.
But yeah, I think that's why I think they're going chronologically.
Okay, I gotta look this up real quick. This is
Seth,
gonna drive me crazy if I
Seth,
don't learn this.
what's your most anticipated game of next year?
Ever since I was a small boy, I have been wanting a Star Wars game where you
Okay.
play as a bounty hunter.
Yep.
And every year since I've been a boy, there's been some kind of rumor floating around of that game being in development.
Yep.
And maybe if I cross my fingers and toes and squint my eyes, Star Wars Outlaws will become that game for me.
And the only positive I will give this game, outside of the fact that I know everyone just said, yeah, but it's made by Ubisoft. It's actually made by the only good studio at Ubisoft, which is Massive Entertainment, who made
Yes.
the Division 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's a reason to be fucking excited, because they're making it in fucking Snowdrop, and you know that's going to look good in fucking Snowdrop.
If
Sorry.
if these shootouts aren't like just the most fun that I've had in a Star Wars game, I'll be a little disappointed. There's
Yeah.
nothing to do here but get it right and profit. Please, for the
Yeah.
love
Oh,
of fucking God, don't let little 14-year-old Seth down. Just let me be a badass in a Star Wars game. Please,
I
pretty
think,
please.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that game too. I'm really hoping that they nail it. I trust that studio more than anything, because they've been doing a good job with keeping up with the Division 2. And man, come on, please let that thing be fucking good.
Yeah.
I flipped a coin because the game, there were 2 games coming out in the same day, ironically the day after my oldest son's birthday. And I said, which one of these 2 am I most excited for? Well, the winner of this is a game I have been waiting 10 years for.
Yes, he has.
Dragon's Dogma 2. Thank you, God. This game is real. And man, does it look fucking great. It looks like
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus mixed with fucking the most insane action RPG I've ever seen in my life. I'm so fucking ready for that game. Why does it have to come out the same day of Rise of the Ronin? God fucking damn it. One of you 2 needs to blink and move it. My pocket is hurting from this. I had so many games to choose from, but I think I've got to go with Dragon's Dogma 2. I
Yeah.
am so ready for that sequel. I think it's going to blow everybody away.
Yeah, forgive the pun. The first one was kind of an underdog game. It
Yes,
just
it
kind of
was.
just appeared. It just kind of apparated
Yep.
into existence. It just kind of appeared, and it got like mixed reviews.
It got like 8s, and people were like, holy shit, this is really good for a
Yeah.
little game. Yeah, it kind of fucked people up with how good it was. It definitely was. It like RoboCop. It shocked a lot of people with just how mechanically sound it was. And it's that conversation around story versus gameplay. What matters most, and what made Dragon's Dogma 1 shine was just how good its gameplay was. I mean, I'm super excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. I know that those guys have been carefully and meticulously creating a new game. I totally.
And you've been a fan of them for a hot minute. Like back when you and I worked in gaming, I remember you putting the game in my hand with an issue of Game Informer to say, "Look at this photo. You were getting this game," and you like forced me to pick up the first Dragon's Dogma. So to hear that they're like putting this much time and quality into the sequel, and then to get a trailer drop like that.
There's a PS4 version of Dragon's Dogma called Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. You can find it at times on sale for like $12. Fucking buy it and fucking enjoy. That game is a treasure. Treasure.
Oh, I saw there was another Prince of Persia potentially coming out next year. I've been a
who cares?
I've been a long-running fan of the series. I like especially if it's like a reinterpretation, new story, or anything like that. I'd be down for like an offshoot because I love a fun desert platformer.
So that is a 2.5 3D game. So that is technically
never mind. Scratch all that. Fuck it. I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah, see, told you.
What it would take. I knew that's all it would take to get him to be like, actually, you know what?
Just pick up the original trilogy, Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and
that's not the original trilogy.
Was it Throne of Kings? What was it called? Was that the last one?
I need PlayStation to catch up with Nintendo. Nintendo keeps putting emulators and their old games on
what
stores
the fuck,
so that
Sony?
I can go. Dude, I would play all of the old Ratchet games on my PS5. Ratchet and Clank.
Sony. Yeah, why do you have to charge me for games? What's your fucking problem? You know what? I'm gonna make you pay $80 for a year of an online service that doesn't really provide any online benefits while you're also still playing full price for games that have been out for 8 fucking years. Yeah. By the way, I just talked about Nintendo, not Sony. So enjoy your free emulators that you're paying $80 a year for while also still paying the full fucking price for Breath of the Wild when its goddamn sequel is out. All of you fucks. Fucking free emulators. They ain't free. You still gotta pay for the goddamn online service.
Okay, but I'm also playing Mario Kart Online and downloading other. Like, you're making it sound like this is like a huge purchase buy-in.
Hey, I played one game online, so fuck you.
This is another prime example as to why owning physical media is critically important.
That's absolutely correct, and that's why it's still $60 for Breath of the Wild. You're getting a full.
Don't you fucking dare! Don't you fucking dare try to rationalize a 5-year-old game being $60.
No, you're correct. That should be $20. That should be a $20 game right now.
I can I've gone on the store and get fucking Judgment, which is the first Judgment, not the second one, for $20. Don't fucking tell me that I gotta pay full price for a 6-year-old game.
You're
I was getting curious one night. I was like, I'm gonna give Final Fantasy 15 another try. I'm gonna see if maybe this one works for me. And I went on the PlayStation Store and looked at the price. Still $50. Eat shit. I'm not doing it.
That was the Royal Edition that you looked up for $50, and I'm guessing this is my prediction because it hasn't been.
I couldn't find the original version.
The Royal Edition is the newest version. You can't find the old one, which you don't need because the Royal Edition is better. But also that he did that right after the Royal Edition came out because it hasn't been $50 on the PlayStation Store in fucking ever. So checkmate, big dick.
Goddamn right, big dick, motherfucker.
You know it.
Speaking of big dicks, there's a game that we aren't talking about on this episode because we already chatted about it, and it's not coming out in 2024. Grand Theft Auto 6 can't make any of our lists because it's too far out away from us, but I wrote the fucking hashtags in the video. So Grand Theft Auto 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, Grand Theft Auto 6.
Hey,
I mean, you never know.
The new Monster Hunter game that's coming out in 2020.
Shut up!
No.
I mean, you never know. They might pull a Valve and be like, oh, it's going to be out by Christmas. Maybe. like 1%
off-
chance. They might be like, hey, they might do it.
First
Who
off,
knows?
one of these studios is competent, knows how to make a game that ends in 3, and the other one is fucking Valve. So no, that's never gonna fucking happen. They're
Yeah.
gonna
Well-
be the biggest dick on the planet and go, oh yeah, it's come out in 2025. Don't like it? Suck my fucking balls. You're played anyway.
Wasn't the plot to that Netflix Bandersnatch thing that they tried to put a game out for Christmas and it killed one of the developers? I think maybe we could skip on rushing that out.
Take your
That's
time.
true, yeah.
Take your time. You guys know.
Yeah,
quality.
I'll wait
Take
till
your
summer.
time.
The summer
Yeah.
Rockstar release. That's the makings of a good summer right there.
Red Dead Redemption 2
Yeah.
was the first Rockstar game I did not like. I know you guys will. I'll be right back on board with.
No,
GTA
dude,
6.
Nakey Jakey has a 45-minute video as to why it is only mid, and I don't think you're incorrect.
Oh.
Like, there's good
Yeah,
shit in it.
what-
It's not to say there's not good shit in it.
Good stuff in there. That
When
I don't
anybody
even
says it's the greatest game ever made, what they mean is it's the best story that's been put into game form. That is, shut up! Shut up! For a wide audience, best story. But when they mean gameplay, no.
Guys, just go watch any fucking western or samurai movie. It's the same
Yeah.
fucking story, guys.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven.
It's fucking
It's
been
Shane. It's
been
that.
done. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
gamers, look here. Look at me. Come here. Watch more fucking movies. And also stop saying that the greatest game of all time is the last game you fucking played. I'm getting tired of seeing that fucking shit, okay? Did you hear me over here saying Final Fantasy 16 was the greatest game of all time? No, motherfucker, because it's fucking not. Because I have a brain and I also fucking think intelligently. Fucking grow the fuck up. Watch some fucking movies. If you did like Red Dead, go watch some fucking westerns and then go, oh shit, wait, this isn't that great. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I fucking hate all of you cucks online. Go fuck yourself.
Spider-Man 2, best game of the year. Good night, everybody.
Let's talk about
Good night. I've had enough.
If you like this game rescue, go fuck yourself. Because I'm gonna be 2024 for 2024 Spielman. I'm putting it out there. Any Jaguar Sharks podcast I'm on in 2024, you're getting feisty, Spielman. He's coming with the trolls. He's coming with the gods of Egypt, love, and
He's
we're
coming
gonna-
with
Keep going.
control.
More hashtags. More hashtags. Keep going. Keep going.
we love never back down.
No, good hashtags. Good hashtags.
Go see the Iron Claw.
There we go.
Aquaman 2 came out. DCEU's dead. Yes.
Avatar. You got to play the Avatar game. Flights of Pandora. That's pretty good.
That looked actually kind of decent. I'm not gonna
Yakuza
lie.
games are great. You should play Like a Dragon or Yakuza. Kirby. Super Smash Brothers. Leisure Suit Larry. Final Fantasy. I already said that. Star Ocean. Good night, everybody. Get fucked.
There we go. The bit can die now. Thank you both for doing a Games of the Year episode. This is half the length of our Movies of the Year episode. So,
Yeah.
good job for being concise, gentlemen.
Just like me.
Yes. Thank you. I've had enough. I'm gonna go jerk off to Carlac now.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking
Great
about.
choice.
Bye.
Great choice. Good night, everybody. This has been Game Rescue. Thanks
I'm
for
jerking
watching.
off to Clive, I think. Wait,
We're
what?
jerking off to the end of this podcast. All right, everybody, turn off your cameras. Bye.
Bye.